Ready Player One is based on a novel from Ernest Cline and is directed by the one and only Steven Spielberg. Much like on how Spielberg and Michael Crichton worked together to bring Jurassic Park to the big screen, Spielberg has worked closely with Ernest Cline to bring his novel to the big screen as well. Now, I'll admit I haven't read the book prior to seeing the film, but I have been educated by those who have read the book that the film does deviate from the novel. But similar in a sense to how Jurassic Park diverts from its original source material, compared to how The Shining completely diverts from Stephen King's novel. The film is set in 2045, where the Earth has become vastly overpopulated, and the only place people have to escape is the Oasis, a massive virtual online game created by a man named James Halliday. Pretty much everyone on the planet becomes involved with the game when Halliday dies, and offers his fortune to anyone who can find a hidden Easter egg in the game, which leads to people like our hero Wade Watts, played by Ty Sheridan, taking on the challenge of finding the egg, while competing with millions of people around the world, drawing the attention of nefarious conglomerates like IOI to take the prize. I gotta say, I had a hell of a fun time with this movie. This here is the pure adventure-loving Spielberg that you grew up with. Does the movie know this? Absolutely. The movie knows that we love Spielberg, pop culture, and everything nerdy. It really does. I know a lot of people were worried about the film being a big nostalgia cash grab, and I'm happy to say that this isn't the case, although I'm sure book fans already knew that. While the movie definitely celebrates our love of pop culture, movies, video games, music, comic books, all that, it also offers some perspective on how we also idolize pop culture, to this almost godlike status as we're always looking for the next big brand to wow us and entertain us. Like how we're always waiting for the next Marvel, DC, or Star Wars film. These trusted brands that we've fallen in love with. And I'll admit, I love those brands as well. But we always end up feeling comfortable with these recognizable icons and characters, and as a result can sometimes forget about reality and trying something different. This movie treats these two ideas pretty equally, I feel. Where yes, absolutely you should embrace pop culture and enjoy what you enjoy, but at the same time remember to experience something real that isn't fictional. That's ultimately the message of this film, and what better person to present that than Steven Spielberg. Someone who, one, has the power to get all these references into one movie, and two, knows how to manipulate and work these references into the film in a meaningful way. I think the best way to explain how this movie relies on pop culture is by comparing it to the Lego Movie, and how although that movie contained pop culture references, still found a way to use them as a way to aid and progress the story, rather than just be used for brand recognition. The case is very much the same with Ready Player One. In fact, there are a lot of beautiful nods that fans of all things pop culture will really love. From the DeLorean making an appearance with composer Alan Silvestri sneaking some notes of his own Back to the Future theme in there, to the bike from Akira, the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, and even the old school Batmobile sneaking in there. While there's an absolutely beautiful sequence in this film that is dedicated as a tribute to Stanley Kubrick, this entire sequence absolutely stole the show for me. And as someone who's a massive Stanley Kubrick fan, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. So I thank Steven Spielberg for respecting his old master. The characters themselves were surprisingly fun and all fairly likable, showing yet again Spielberg's tireless ability to get great performances from a younger cast. Ty Sheridan and Olivia Cooke are both fantastic, but Olivia Cooke is by far the standout performance in the film. Just anytime this girl was on screen, she drew you in with little quirks or actions that just made her character Artemis feel real and authentic. Ben Mendelsohn as the villain in this film is pretty spectacular as the head of this villainous IOI company, trying to manipulate Wade and his group of friends into getting the Easter egg. Ben's a great actor and he always seems like he's having a great time while playing the villain, as we saw him do in Rogue One. I will say though that some of the villains and dialogue in this film can get pretty cheesy, and a number of the jokes do fall flat. Whether they sounded better on the page and the actors couldn't quite deliver them in a convincing way, or the script needed a polish, these cheesier moments were definitely there but didn't detract too much from the overall experience. The film probably has a serious shot at being nominated for Best Animated Feature at next year's Oscars, as a good portion of this film is animated and created digitally, which is why it took so long for the film to come out. Much of our time is spent within the Oasis, where we occasionally cut back to the real world to see how events in the game are affecting our heroes in real life. There is some nice cutting between the characters' avatars in the game world with their real selves, which comes across pretty seamless. But as with James Cameron's Avatar, this movie is a tour de force in motion capture and digital artistry. With so much visual eye candy to try and take in, it's going to take a few goes watching it to try and decipher everything, and you're going to want to. There's so much in this film that you'll be wanting to go frame by frame to see what you've missed. The sound mix is pretty incredible as well, complementing a lot of the big bombastic action where at a few times I thought my theatre speakers were going to give out, which I'm glad that they didn't. Ready Player One is a true cinema experience that is best experienced in the theatres, as it's just packed with so many crowd-pleasing moments, while also being a technical tour de force. I imagine the older crowd might have some trouble connecting with some of the newer gaming elements in the film, like virtual reality and the social media allegory of it all. I think the younger generation will be the ones to get the most out of the film. It's not perfect, but this is classic Spielberg and you're gonna have a blast watching it. Ready Player One gets an 8.5 out of 10 from me. Guys, I hope you like this review. If you want to see more reviews just like this one, stay right here for your money fix. Bye guys.